Hello friends. If you're new here, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm Hannah. I filmed this video once today already, the whole thing, and then I sat down to review the footage and I realized that the audio wasn't working. So imagine how frustrating that was. Had to charge up everything, clear the memory cards, and try again. So now everything hopefully will go better this time. The mic is working. So let's talk about the video. We're gonna go through my journaling ecosystem 6 months into the year. I posted a video back in early February, I think, talking about what my ecosystem for 2026 was going to look like. And now that I've been in it for a few months and I've experimented with pages and things, I wanted to revisit all of those books and talk about what has changed and what has evolved, what has disappeared from my system, and what has been added. It's going to be, I think, a rather lengthy video, but hopefully now that this is my second go with trying to film it, it goes a little bit smoother. So we have our little Hobonichi robot here. He is going to hang out with us for the vlog. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So I thought we would talk a little bit about the system first. I went into this year feeling more confident in the books that I chose for my system, but I also recognized that there was a very good chance they were going to continue to evolve. I think just it's our nature, human nature, to evolve and change and grow. And the things that were serving me well at the beginning of the year maybe aren't serving me as well 6 months in. We have different needs, I have different needs, and I think the changes that I've made in my system really reflect that sentiment. So we'll start with what's fallen out of my system completely, and then we'll talk about what's still in my system, and then what additions have been made, and how I think all of this is going to evolve as I start looking towards 2027 and what I want to do with my books there. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The first book that has fallen out of my system completely, and this is one that I don't want to say I'm disappointed about it, but I do feel like I spent a lot of money. I mean, not a lot of money, but the book that I'm using for this was more money than I would have liked to spend on something that I am only used for like 2 months. That is my health journal. This is a Hobonichi Weeks, the strawberry milk color, and I really do love this color of book. I think it's a beautiful tone. I had a plastic cover on it as well, but I removed it because I've put this into storage. So this book was my health journal, and I was using it to track things for my physical and mental and emotional health. I was doing meal planning in here, logging my step count, logging my habits, doing things that are kind of more related to general wellness, like cleaning logs and things. And for the first few weeks of the year, this was working really well. Like I can show you, you can see kind of how it began. I was really doing well at keeping up with it. I was logging everything. There really wasn't a lot of empty spaces. And then right around the middle to the end of February, things started getting a little bit dicier. I was just not logging it as much, and by the time you get to March, there are entire weeks where I wasn't. And I tried to get back into it, and then I gave up. So I think part of the thing with this book is that some of the stuff in here, like meal planning and stuff, I started logging digitally. I am trying to like take better care of my health, but I also wanted to log more like nutrient stuff, and I just found that an app was a much easier use for this than doing it all on analog. So that's why this situation is the way it is here. There are some spreads in here that I wish I had kept, or I was keeping up, like my step log. It's actually really disappointing because around the time I stopped using this journal was when I really committed to getting at least 10,000 steps a day. And so this log will be filled with a lot more of like 15 to 20,000 steps, which would have been really nice to see. But I think I can find a place in another journal for this log to go so I can keep track of these numbers. There's really not much else in here that I'm like desperate to keep going. I was doing a gratitude log, and these, pages turned out really cute, but again, you can see I just wasn't keeping up with it. March I barely logged anything. Same with April. So it just, these pages were cute, but like, what was the point of setting them all up if I wasn't going to use them? Same with like these pages back here, like new restaurants and coffee and tea and favorite recipes. I wasn't using these, and it's a little disappointing because I really liked how I decorated them, but at a certain point, if it's not working and you're not wanting to use it, what's the point of forcing it into the system? And so that's why this is no longer part of my ecosystem, and I'm feeling okay with it. I feel like there's a huge chunk of this book that I didn't use, and that makes me a little frustrated with myself because I spent a lot of money on this, and that's a little disappointing. But I think that I just need to cut my losses, and I need to accept that I am happier when I'm not stressing out about keeping this book up to date. And that's the reality of the situation, and that's what I just need to accept. So, health journal, no longer in the system. The other book that is no longer in my system, and we will talk about it, I'm not going to even bring it out here because we'll talk about it later because it's been kind of reused, remapped into something else, was my traveler's notebook, private diary, and content planner. I had a traveler's notebook, I still have it, but I was using it for like a bunch of random inserts that I didn't have a place for. I was keeping like a more like personal diary where I was putting a lot of like my negative emotions and thoughts into. And I just found that I wasn't picking it up. I don't think I like the traveler's notebook size and format for that type of journaling. And the same thing goes for the content planning. I have moved all my content planning to digital formats. I use Notion for all of it. I keep a calendar in there. And I've just found that to be much more useful and efficient with my time than keeping it in paper. So those two inserts are out of the system. I have revamped that book, and we will talk about that when we talk about what's new in my ecosystem. So that covers what's been removed. As for what has stayed, there's a lot that has been working really well for me, and I haven't felt the need to change since January. They might have evolved a little bit with like what I'm doing with individual pages in the books, but the books themselves have been pretty steady otherwise. The first one that I'm going to talk about, and I'm not going to dwell on this too long, is my morning pages journal. This is a Moleskine expanded lined edition, and you can see that I'm, decent amount through, but this is definitely going to last me into 2027, and that's fine. I don't feel very particular about this book starting on January 1st and ending December 31st. I'm just fine with it being, whenever it starts, whenever it ends, it's fine. I love this book. I have no qualms with it. I don't want to change anything about it. I don't need to change the format. I think this works perfectly for how I do my morning pages, and I'm overall really happy with it. So no complaints. Nothing more to say. I'm not going to even open it and show it because it's a lot of personal thoughts and things, and I don't actually read my morning pages after I write them. It's just I put them on the page and then let it go type situation. So anyway, morning pages journal. So the next book is probably the book that one of the books I'm having the most questions about as I'm looking forward into 2027. It's a book that's very, very important to my system, but the way that it is functioning and the way that I am failing to use sections of this book is starting to frustrate me. And that is my memory keeping journal. This is technically it's a Hobonichi Han, but it is the paper cover like the cousin. This is just the black gingham, and I've covered it in stickers. I've also slipped a little postcard here in the back from a mail club. And overall, there's a lot I really like about this book. I really enjoy the A5 size. I think the A5 size is perfect because I love picking it up. I love opening it. I love being in it. You can see that she's gotten quite chunky already this year. We're only 6 months in and she's getting real thick. But I love picking it up. I love feeling it in my hands. There's a lot of that I really enjoy. But the thing about Hobonichi, particularly in the A5 size, I was in an A6 last year with this, and the A6, I just didn't have enough space on the page. The thing about the A5 is that when you move up to the A5 size, you gain an entire section, which is the weekly section. And the weeklies are one of the things that I'm struggling with in this journal. So if we just kind of flip through, you can see I've added a few more stickers in here, stuff from friends. I've got a bingo card from the Tomato Meal Club I was part of for a little bit. And then going into here, so my monthlies are great. I'm using these as just like a highlights page. I just kind of, flip through everything or just note down everything that kind of was important that happened during the month. And I really like how these have turned out. I think they're real cute. I haven't filled out anything for June yet. And I enjoy the act of doing these pages. I do wish that because of the way that I do these, I wish these pages were paired with the daily pages of that month, so that it was January, the January monthly, and then all the January dailies, and then the February monthly, and then the February dailies. But Hobonichi doesn't do that. They group all the monthlies together. So that's just something that I need to, I would like to change. It's not like the end of the world, but it is something that I keep wishing was slightly different, because I also kind of forget these are up here sometimes. I will go do my daily stuff and then I forget to come back up here and update and add things to the days. So I do have these 35 to watch in 2026 and 35 games to finish in 2026. I love these pages. I love the formatting. I love everything about them. I do feel like these could be moved to another book, and we'll talk about that in a minute. You can see I haven't made a lot of progress on my movies or my games. I'm working on it. I have a few that I'm going to get through. I just watched Sinners last night and really liked it. And I have a few more on here that I would like to get to before the end of the month. So we're going to try. I think we can make a lot of progress. I still have 6 months left in the year. So there's that. Again, same with the games. And I do have my ink log here as well. I haven't updated it in a while. I actually do have a new pen. It's this beautiful purple Twisby. This is the fluoride. I love my edition because it has like these really nice hints of dark purple and pink, even though it's like predominantly a purple pen. And I'm just really happy with how that looks. I've got this currently inked up with Diamine's Classic Green. So I have to put that in here, but haven't done it. So I like having this, but it's not super necessary. I feel like, again, this was me trying to use up every single spread possible in this book, which is why I'm so frustrated with my weeklies. I ended up doing my weeklies as these like daily journal prompts. And for a while, I was really committed to doing this. I was following everything and like filling them out, and I wasn't missing many days. But then as time went on, I was falling behind. And then I was starting to do like 3 or 4 days backlogging at a time. And I don't feel like that was serving the purpose that this exercise was supposed to do. And so I just kind of stopped doing it. By the end of April into May, I just stopped. I did try to adapt the weekly, and I put in like a writing sample of my new pen with the color ink that I have it in it currently. And I mean, I could do this, but I'm not going to be able to use it the rest of the weeklies doing this type of format. So I just feel like they're going to be sitting empty. And again, with this book, I want it to be full. I want every page used. And I recognize that that's like not a big problem. Like I could just let go of that and move on. But I do feel like having an entire section of a book be useless is a little frustrating, especially with how expensive this book was, because this book was quite a bit more than the Hobonichi weeks. So that's one thing. The other thing is looking at my weeklies. And some of this I'm probably going to blur out just because personal writings and stuff. But you can see with these daily pages, I am mostly filling them out fully, but then I'm hitting points, and you can see it here, like with these 2 spreads, where I just didn't have a lot to say. And so I end up with these giant gaps of pages where I just don't have enough to say. See, this was when the Avatar movie leaked, and I was going through a Zuko brain rot phase, and I was like, I'm just going to fill up this page with photos of him, going through it. But I'm finding ways to fill it up, but at the same time, it's like, more emptiness. And I feel like I need more flexibility. I love the A5 size, and sometimes I do have enough to say to fill the page, but other times I just don't. And I would rather have more flexibility in how much space I give to each day. And so all that being said, I've been really thinking about how does this book function next year, and I think what I'm realizing is that the Hobonichi is just not for me. I don't think it's the right book for my system. So what I'm thinking instead is I'm going to follow in the footsteps of like Bronte Plans and Moonlit Journal and some other people who have just gone into like a standard notebook, and rather than keep it in the Hobonichi, they just have a standard notebook setup. And I think that's what I want to try. It is going to require a lot more work for me up front, but I think that it will work really well in the long run. You know, I'm going to just have to set aside time to set up my monthly every month the way I want it and all that. But I do feel like, you know, I need more flexibility than what this book is giving me. And I think that is the best solution that I could come up with. So I'm going to give it more thought. I would love to hear what you guys are doing with your memory journals if you're keeping one. If you have any ideas for alternate ways to use the weeks, I don't keep like a time calendar or anything, so I can't use it in the traditional sense of what it's built for. And I just haven't been able to come up with something that like sticks with me and makes me want to be in those pages every day. So please let me know if you have any thoughts. But otherwise, yeah, I think like maybe a Sterling ink notebook would be a really great one to switch to. I know it has a ton of pages, but I think this could be an opportunity, you know, to move like my step count into here, and I could do pages for like my tarot readings every month. And I feel like there are ways that I could bulk up that book or fill out a lot of those pages and make it function the way that I would really like to. And I feel like I could put more photos in for like when I have concerts or I have big events. I kind of have hesitated to print out too much because if I print out too many photos, I won't have enough space to write for that day. So I think I can make a like standard notebook work really well for me, but I'm going to give it some more thought because it is just something that is going to be a much larger time commitment than even this is currently. The next one we're going to talk about is actually going to be two books. We're going to talk about my hobby and media journal and my media review journal. And I'm putting these together because they're separate books, but over the last few months, I have realized they really all need to be one book. So I'm going to start with my media review journal because this is the book that is the problem. This is an Archer and Olive A5 notebook. It is a beautiful notebook. And I have been using this where to put all of my media reviews in. So for movies and TV and video games and podcasts, everything was supposed to go in here and everything was going to get its own individual page. But you can see I have not been filling them out. I like set up the pages, but I haven't actually filled out the information and written anything in here because I'm just not loving the format. I don't enjoy the format and I don't enjoy having to set these pages up. I don't like doing the hand lettering thing. I just don't like it. And I feel, again, this was such a beautiful book and it was rather pricey, so I want to try to use it and use it up. So I'm committed to like filling it out for the year, but I don't want to keep this for next year. I want to find a better way to track my reviews because I want to have like short reviews for the movies and things I finish, but I just feel like it needs to be something much simpler and much easier to use. And that is why I am thinking that everything needs to move into probably one of my favorite books in my system right now, which is my media and hobby journal. This is another Hobonichi Weeks, and I am obsessed with this book. I love this book. This is the horse one. I know there's still a slight glare because of the plastic cover that I keep on it to keep it nice. But this book was one that I put together on a whim after watching the Lexorcist Files and a few other videos of people who had kept one of these. And I love updating it. This is where I track all the media that I consume over the course of every week that I, exist. On the left side and here in the weeklies, I put down whatever I was reading and watching and doing, crafting. And then on the right, I do these really fun little collages. And I print out all of like the book covers and the album covers and stuff that I've engaged with, and I just put it all in here. And sometimes there's very few covers, and then sometimes there's a lot of stuff. And I just really like doing these. I just think this is a really fun little creative exercise that allows me to, again, use stickers and washies and my Tombos and stuff. And I just really like putting it all together. And I really also love the beginning pages too. I have some stickers that I stuck in here. But I figured out how to use the monthlies here to where I track like releases for various things, games that are coming out, albums, events related to media that I want to go to. And I like to keep my favorites. I still need to fill out May, but I put down my like favorites of the month down here. And I just really like filling this out. June, I think, is a great example. There was a lot going on. There's even more I'm going to add. And there's just a lot. There's a lot that I like. And I think too, you know, we have some extra monthlies here. I'm using the January monthly to track new albums, new to me albums that I'm listening to. Coincidentally, all the ones that are currently in here are new releases, but, and ignore this Animal Crossing, I filled out the wrong page at one point. But I've just been tracking the new albums I like, and I really like having this. And I think those pages I was talking about in my memory keeping journal, my 35 to watch and 35 to finish, can go into here. I feel like it makes a lot more sense to combine them into here. And then I'm using the notes pages very consistently. I have my read in 2026. And, you know, I have my gallery pages that I've been keeping. And I have them for film as well. I have kind of various lists and stuff that I'm keeping. I have a section that's set up for comics and manga because I want to start reading that. And I'm enjoying this book a lot. And so I feel like it's a natural fit to, if I got a mega, if I went up to a week's mega, I could just have a section back here for all the reviews of the media that is actually in this book. And that could include, you know, I could put in my little cover that I want to and put in my information. I could have my short little review, and everything would be really nice and compact and all in this one place. I feel like I really want to combine things down and just make it a little bit easier for me. And I feel like because I'm enjoying this book so much, I really think making my reviews be a part of this book physically will make me want to fill out those reviews more and write those reviews, and I won't fall behind as much. So I love this. The one thing I will say though is I have expanded this a little bit, this like combo system. So we have these two books, and I have also made the decision to stop putting gaming reviews and gaming stuff into this book, and I've added in something else to the system. So I'll put this here. I ended up getting, and I know, this is different than the other one you guys saw. I ended up getting another traveler's notebook. This is the brown leather. I have this cute charm on here from Sarah Stickers here in Chicago. Bring it up close so you guys can get a good look at it. It's just really pretty. And this is now what I'm calling like my media journal. I have just one insert in here, and that is for my gaming. And I put together this little insert. I haven't set up anything on the inside yet, just the cover page and everything. And then I did start doing an index. I started experimenting and I didn't like it, so I glued the pages together. So there's actually nothing in here, but I'm just going to keep all my gaming stuff in here, and I'm going to date it. However long it takes me to fill this is however long it takes me to fill this. So I'm doing this as volumes rather than like for 2026. So I really am excited about doing this. I think this is going to be really nice, because part of the reason why I wanted to move gaming into a separate insert is because I want to glue more things into here. I just want to be able to like put in more stuff, like screenshots and, you know, maps and stuff like that. And if I put that in here, it would just get too bulky. So I just wanted to start this insert now, because I'm not going to finish this insert by the end of the year. I'm not finishing that many games that quickly. But so I just figured, why not start it now? Why not wait till next year? So that is how this is all kind of coming together. And I just keep this tucked in the front here of this journal, and it works really nicely. I would like to get a few more charms for on here. I keep my little clip down here as well, but I love this. I love this system. I'm so excited about setting up the gaming section and everything. And I feel like, you know, next year this will be gone and this will be in here, and I will just be really, really happy with this part of my system. I think I finally have like cracked the code for my media logging with this. And I'm happy. I'm really happy. This is giving me peace. journal piece, planner piece, all of that piece. I'm finding that piece with this book, and yeah, it's just great. The other bit of media, and I'm going to talk about this journal now, is the stuff that doesn't go into my media log. I track what I'm reading in my media journal, but I don't track my reading reviews or stuff because I keep a separate reading journal, which is this very thick boy right here. This is an Archer and Olive 8x8 journal, and this is my reading journal. I realized I never actually posted a video of a flip through of this journal. I took footage of it and I didn't like it, and I just never like fixed anything, and because I was already filling out the book, I just gave it up. So I'm going to flip through this while I talk about it. I'm not really going to explain too much, but this book is what I am in every single month, tracking all of my reading. I love how this book is set up. I love the size. I love all the pages and the different spreads that I made. All of it is functioning really well for me. I still need to update some stuff from May in here. I started doing some of it and I didn't finish, but I just think I get so excited about going in and updating all my front pages. I love it. There are some minor things I want to change, like my series tracker really needed to be a spread, so next year I'll do it as a spread. I have kind of like my book of the month choice, like what my favorite read was that month, my 5-star reads, my book sub box spread I just like having. I think it's a fun thing to track. And yeah, it's a great book. So all these front pages I'm really happy with. It did get a little bulky because I printed out, or I didn't print, I like stamped all these letters and things and handwrote all these letter things, but it has bulked up the book significantly. So next year I won't be doing things like that. I will try to find something that keeps it a little thinner. But I really enjoy everything about the front of this book. What I'm actually running into problems with on this book is my review pages. So I'll show you these little cards. I printed these like cards. I'm doing this romance Opoly challenge, reading challenge. And so I made these custom cards that I keep the prompts on the back. And I really like how it turned out. I just keep them tucked in here. Like, I love this type of stuff. And a lot of my like interactive bits were inspired by Amanda Made here on YouTube. So definitely go give her videos a watch if you haven't before. Her reading journal is great. But yeah, I think my issue comes to the review pages. I love my seasonal spread. This is like, I set up this every season with just things to do and books to read and just thoughts on the season. And I love my openers. I always do this format with this large collage and then a calendar. It's these review pages that I've been struggling with. I don't love doing written reviews for books because I talk about them on the channel. I do videos of them. I do posts on Instagram. It just feels repetitive to do it in here. And so I just don't know what to do about this section. I really like having these stats pages and I kind of want to expand this out. And I love doing the front. I love setting this up, but it's just these review pages I don't enjoy doing. And I don't know what the solution is. I thought maybe going to like this half page setup would be enough. And that would give me the motivation that I need. Like, it's not that much space to fill, but I'm still not enjoying it. So if anybody has any thoughts or suggestions on how they are doing their reading journal, if you are not doing review pages, what are you doing instead? How are you using up these pages? How do you track your reading? Maybe it's just a matter of me doing something more interactive or more like just the stats of the book and there's just no review point. I don't know. I like having this information here. I like having like the dates and the format I read it and the length and all that. But it's the actual review part I'm not enjoying. Like, you can see first time caller, I barely wrote anything for being a full page. So yeah, that's that. And you can see I haven't even set up the reviews for my June, my May wrap up. I posted a video if you're interested in seeing my thoughts on all the books I read in May. My video is up on my channel, but I think this is really cute. I just don't want to do the other stuff. So that's what I have to figure out for this. I still want to keep it in the 8x8. I just don't know how we're going to do the review pages going forward. I'm committed to continuing the format for this year. So yeah, this is my reading journal. I am definitely keeping one next year. I just really like putting the time and effort that goes into it. But you can see kind of the binding is breaking because it's so So thick. So yeah, reading journal. The next two books we're not going to talk about for too long. These are the last two books that are consistent in my system from last year. And that is my Commonplace book. And this book, again, I don't have many updates. I've only added one entry since the last time we talked, I think. Maybe I have this entry here, but I've been really inspired by Word Layouts posts and how she tracks art and stuff in hers. So I saw this beautiful painting and I wanted to give like an example entry of how I could make this work. And I really like it. And I want to do more in this book, but I just don't sit down and like copy text and print things out for it the way I want to. So I think my goal this summer is just to engage with it more. I really want to. You can see I even added in like another sticker for humanities type stuff. So yeah, I just need to do more with it. That's it. There's really nothing else to say, but I love this book. It's Nostalgia A5 and the special edition Yosaka Stationery. I've got this really great postcard from a Sticky Club back here that I really like the art of. And yeah, I just need to use the book more. The last journal, and we're going to talk about this one very quickly, is my collections journal. I am still keeping this and using it. It is still needs to be set up more, but I've filled out more sections since the last time I flipped through this. I think I've got, you know, my author logs are filled out. I put in all the Agatha Christie's, and I have a couple film logs in here as well. I have Audrey Hepburn and then Wes Anderson. I did start setting up the stuff for like the universes, the Cosmeres here for Brandon Sanderson, Realm of the Elderlings, Discworld. I have all these other spreads kind of set up. I just need to fill it all out. So I just need to take the time to do it. There's even more sections back here that I need to do. I need to do my comics section. I set up this one section for, I have the smut reader sticker. This is going to be, there's a lot of historical romance authors that write books where like the series are all interconnected, and I want to just have those noted here for the various authors that I want to try. So there's still a lot of work to do, but I like having this book. I don't really stress about this book a lot. I just try to update it when I can. And yeah, it's just kind of a utility, almost appendix book to my system. But I thought I would still mention it, that it is still in existence and I'm still using it in my system. So what's new in my system? I have two new books in my system. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is my Traveler's Notebook I mentioned before that I had taken everything out of. It's here. I am using it still. We've just completely overhauled what it is used for. I really wanted to start doing something more creative, and I watched a lot of people who keep junk journals, and I thought, why can't I do that? So I've started a junk journal insert, and I actually started this at Chicago Stationery Fest. So I have a bunch of stamps here from the different booths that I went to. And then I just have been putting in random things as I get them into here. I am not being very like cute about this. I'm not worried about this looking good. I'm not worried about it like anything. I'm just putting in random things. And it's been really fun. I'm enjoying the art of, doing it. And, I have a bunch of washi sticker wrappers in here. And it's been fun to do this. And I just want to keep doing more things like this. So I don't really care how good it looks. Like I said, it's just supposed to be fun stuff. And yeah, so I'm calling this Traveler's Notebook in general my creativity journal. I keep this in here, but then I also plan to put in my like a sketching insert in the back. I have my sticker insert right here, just tucked in. But I do want to add like a sketching notebook to this. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this. I like that I'm able to use this still, and I feel like the junk journal is just kind of something fun and easy, and when it's full, and I can just start making another one. But it is nice to have a place to put all the cute ephemera that comes from like stationery buys and things I get in the mail and stuff. It's nice to have somewhere to put it all so I can remember things. I really like that. And the last new book in my system is one that I was influenced. I always said I was never going to get a book like this, and then I got it anyway, and that's the Traveler's Notebook passport size. I love this. I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought it was going to be too small, but I actually really enjoy my time in this book. This is my everyday carry. I have some decal things from Grumpy Nook on here that I think are really cute. I have my clip, but I use this as like my day-to-day carry. I have just some stuff stuck in the front here. This is front section is the one that I kind of want to do a quick flip through of. I just started doing this in June or May, but June's the first like real setup I've done on my 11 trip pencil board. What I do is I set up a calendar and I use this to track like events and stuff. So wherever if I have dinner plans or appointments or concerts or everything, it just kind of all goes in here. And then I keep my habits in here. I just have my little calendars and I just mark things off as I go. I'm using X's right now, but I want to do something different. I think going for next month, like adding color or something so it's easier to see what days I've completed things. And then I also put in a little like monthly goal list. So I put down what do I want to watch and play and do during the week. And then I keep a to-do list, like a monthly to-do list here on the right. This is like big ticket items. It's not like a daily to-do, but that's all I plan on keeping in this. So, you know, I'll set up July and it'll be the same 3 spreads. And that means this insert's going to take me a long time. This is a Serica Studio insert. I have some sticker stuff here as well. But I feel like this is going to be a really nice little handy book to have around. And it's really easy for me to throw in my bag. And I like having it. It's not going to be like, I don't use this as like an appointment keeper. I still keep all of that in my phone. But I do enjoy the act of like filling this out. So I also keep a little Commonplace book in here. This just is like various lists and things and stuff that I want to keep notes of. It's something that I'll just recycle when I'm done with it, but it's here. And the last insert is, I got this idea from Megan Rhiannon. I have been using up a lot of my perfume samples, and so I wanted to keep a little log of them, and so I've just set this up, and it's very simple. I put down the brand, I put down the name of the perfume, and then I put down the notes and just comments about it. The little star stickers means it's a perfume that I would like to get a bottle of because I really like the smell. But we'll, you know, I have the bottle in here. I need to product with this, but this is just like a fun little thing to keep. I keep on hand. I don't really need it in this book because it's not something that needs to travel with me, but I just don't have another place to store it. So it just gets stuffed in here for now. Someday maybe I'll get another passport size, but for now this book is working really well as is, and I'm really glad I got it. It's very simple. I have to maybe spend like maybe 30 minutes setting it up at the start of every month, but I've enjoyed that, and I can just I like just being able to throw this in my bag. I have this little Uniball tiny pen that I just keep tucked into the little strap like this, and it's really great. So yeah, it's more of a planner than anything, but I do like having it on hand, and I like the ease of use of it, and just always having a notebook on hand for me to be able to do stuff. So yeah, and that is it for the system. I have like, you know, there's some other things I would like to look at doing. You know, I've been looking at a lot of like Louise Carmen and Paper Republic leather journals, and I've been thinking about making my own because the Louise Carmen ones and the Paper Republic aren't quite what I'm looking for, and I feel like I can make that pretty easily, so I want to give that a try. And then I could kind of fold in some like the extra things into that, you know. I could bring back like a personal diary in there. I could put my Commonplace book in there, kind of have it be like a bigger thought journal has been something I've been considering, but I'm trying not to get in over my head on that one. So that's just a general thought I have. And I do feel like overall, I'm just wanting to spend less time like decorating my books. I just want to write. I want to document. I enjoy the act of like doing stickers and like mini collages and things, and I like that. But more than anything, I just want to be able to fill them out in the way that I want to fill them out. And that's kind of why I feel like so many of the books I'm looking at just like downsizing stuff. So all that is to say it's, you know, again, things in a couple months when we talk, I'm going to come back and I'll talk about what I'm going to do for 2027. I'm sure my journals will have changed again. And, you know, I won't be, maybe, you know, I won't have the same feelings as I do right now, but that's where it currently stands. And yeah, oh, and I keep seeing people with the Me Plus books, and I do really want a Me Plus. I feel like it would be perfect for like a crafting journal. I saw Bronte Plans is using hers as a like crafting knitting journal, and I am trying to get, like, I do cross stitch and I am trying to learn to knit. And I feel like that would be a great little thing to have, but I am not allowing myself to buy one until I'm actually like actively knitting. I'm still just like teaching myself. So anyway, that's it. That's everything. And my camera stuff is about to die again. So I need to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out. If you made it this far, please talk to me about what your journaling system looks like. And if you have any ideas for how I can improve mine, I know I talked about a couple books where I'm struggling with a few things. So if you have ideas or thoughts or anything, please let me know. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll see you later. Bye.